Hey folks, it's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building. SPS Mental Health Moment, Sports Psychology Solution that is. Like I always say, man, I get the great fortune to be able to interview some great people, but in many cases, these are my friends. And to be able to get on this platform and share with my friends and be able to tell the great stories of our friendship was always great. This brother I want to introduce to you now, Coach AJ Moore. Man, this is my early morning brother. You know, from his time I was working the front desk at the YMCA and always seeing his face at 5 a.m. and been such a supportive brother of me and my movement, my work. People may look at me and say, oh, Lindsey, you always hustle and grind. But it was this brother in particular that I would always meet early morning who was always a good listening ear, always very supportive of what I was doing and very encouraging of the things that I was having go on. So I was very happy to hear about his positive transition to take on the role as freshman coach for Holt basketball here in the greater Lansing area. Good brother, good coach, and a well-deserved appointment as you get ready to go into your second season. But with that, let me say hello to Coach AJ Moore. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, sir. How you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great, man. It's like that grind pays off, huh? You were a very good assistant coach with the Waverly program, and you were very active in your coaching search because you felt you were ready to take on a head coaching role, which I totally agree with. And after much harder work, now you've taken on a role as head coach of the freshman boys at Holt High School. So what has that experience been like for you?
The experience has been great, man. Like you said, I've been grinding for years, being an assistant and, helping out at Waverly. And, my time just came and I jumped on the opportunity to coach the Holt freshman boys basketball team this past season, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah. So what advice can you give to someone out there who's transitioning through this process of getting into coaching, trying to ascend from being, assistant coach to getting that role where you can call your own timeouts and things like that?
Well, I mean, first of all, you gotta you can't be afraid to be a student. You may think that you may know everything, but every situation that you get into, you got to be able to go into that situation wanting to learn and not, have the big head and just try to jump in and be the leader. You gotta learn how to be a leader. And so that's what I tried to do. Starting off, I mean, I had a lot of guys along my path that helped me out as far as, learning the game. I played basketball, but, going into coaching, it's a different view of the game. So, you just got to learn, how to deal with different personalities and just how to manage the game from the sideline.
Yeah, I mean, all great advice, but you really hit the nail right on the head when you talk about dealing with different personalities. I mean, sometimes when you tell people you're a head coach of a freshman basketball team, do they look at you crazy because there's this idea that coaching this generation of athletes can be so challenging, whether you're coaching or being an official? I mean, what kind of response do you get from people when they talk about you having that coaching role for a freshman group?
Yeah, well, talking to a lot of different coaches over the past couple of years, the game has changed. The personalities have changed with the kids. So things, are a lot different now. Just like you said, handling different personalities. Every kid is not the same. You can't talk to the kids now like you did, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. So,
You can't talk trash to them, shut them down and say crazy stuff to them no more?
Oh, no, man. Their mental is completely different now. How when I grew up, coach would cuss you out or say, talk trash to you, say whatever, you take it.
Hey, coach put hands on you.
That would be motivation for you, though. In the game now, that'll shut a kid down. So you just got to make that transition, make that change, and be able to adapt.
Well, knowing you, man, you definitely have the temperament for coaching. This is not to say that you would just take anything, but you just really have the ability, AJ, which I respect, to take in all kind of information and all kind of experience from people, sit back and process it, make a decision and act on it. I mean, you and I have talked countless times about things that have happened, how you go figure out how you go do it and how you execute. I mean, you think that is one skill set that really helps you in the coaching capacity?
Yeah. I think that that really helps me out as far as like how I conduct myself on the sideline. As far as like dealing with the players, the in-game situations, the referees, parents. it's tough, man. But I think, just my personality alone, I feel like helps me, just do what I do.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a really important word. I mean, we were talking about the players, but the other P word is parents. And many can argue that there's a level of toxicity happening with parents having unrealistic expectations about their child and their playing time and just all that. How do you manage dealing with this generation of athletes, their parents? Many of these helicopter parents, or now they say snowplow parents, that always just want to clear the way for their kid.
Right. Well, I mean, over the years, I've learned as being an assistant and, just learning the game from other coaches is that you have to be upfront and honest with these parents from the get-go. You don't want to sell them any dreams, and then things don't go their way or don't go the way that they think it should be as far as the parents or the kids. And then next thing you know, there's an issue that's just snowballing like crazy and you can't stop it.
Yeah, so it's important to be upfront. I think that's really good. Talk about coaching now in COVID-19. Mark Ewell, executive director of MHSAA, was just on recently. I heard some interviews about him talking about mixing things around. I mean, not that you have all the answers, but what was it like, one, when you got the word about the shutdown, and what have you been doing in that time, and what do you kind of expect, or what kind of approach are you going to take when we try to get back to some form of normalcy with playing sports?
When I first heard about it, it was kind of shocking. I mean, you didn't know what to think, what to do. Honestly, you're just relying on the experts to just kind of like guide you through what's going to happen. And we all had hopes and dreams of it just blowing over, but it's still here. It's still here. So through the COVID and over the summertime, I've just been reaching out to my kids that I've coached in the past, and just try to keep their hopes up, and just checking in with them to make sure that they're okay, and just hopefully we can have a season coming up in the fall. We can get together and try to make some things happen during the season. As far as the off season, there were a lot of plans on trying to get the kids better and doing a lot of training and stuff, but all that has been put on hold because of this COVID-19. So we
Yeah.
just got to do what we can do best, and hopefully the kids will work out on their own and get better.
Yeah, you're right. It's really unique what's going on right now. There are a lot of unanswered questions. Growing up in Detroit, Henry Ford High School, I was just on with one of my fellow Henry Ford High School brothers a second ago, and we were JV players and varsity players. So we weren't fortunate enough to have a freshman team. You being in a program that has the resource to have a freshman team means you only get these guys for 1 year.
Yep.
Unlike JV, you may have a kid maybe 2 years. Varsity, you may have them, 3 or 4 years. What is it like, and what do people don't know about coaching freshmen that's very unique with just having these guys for one season?
Well, one thing that I tried to talk to the kids that I just coached this past season was the importance of learning the change of the game from middle school to high school. The game gets faster. You got to get smarter. You got to get stronger. You got to work on your talent. So the one thing that I try to express to kids transitioning from middle school basketball to high school basketball is just the pace of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Your basketball IQ. I feel like that's a real big thing right now with these kids is the basketball IQ. A lot of them are watching, all these guys highlights on, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it may be. Yeah, they just want to jump on the court and just start doing things, but they don't understand the grind and the work that comes behind it.
How do
So
you get them to better understand that, AJ?
well, my guys, I tried to, I brought out books, I brought out videos, I brought people to practices to talk to them. I mean, it's not just me. I don't feel like I'm a know-it-all. So, I try to get everybody to come in and help. It takes a village. So that's just what I try to do.
I appreciate you inviting me over. I remember coming over and talking to your guys, and they were very respectful for me as a speaker, but I think that was a reflection of how they felt about you. So with the time that we have, AJ, talk about, what you would like to see happen with the work you're going to be doing with the freshmen, with the hope that we get a season or some form of a season. What would you like to happen if we can get things going again?
Well, what would I like to happen is first, I just want to have the season. I mean, I love basketball, I love being in the gym, but I mean, for the guys, I mean, I would love for them to be able to have an outlet. You know, basketball and sports is the outlet for these kids, man. You know, they go to school all day. You know, they're at home dealing with their parents or the peer pressure or, you know, whatever it may be. So hopefully, you know, we can get the sports back together and rolling and, you know, have an outlet for these guys. As far as the program, man, I'm just trying to, you know, help out in any way that I can, you know, help these guys get further on in life. It's not just about making it to the NBA, but it's learning about, you know, what needs to be, what it takes to be an adult, a man.
Right.
So
You kind of hit on something. I'm gonna give a shameless plug to my book, The SPS Edge, a guide to mental toughness in sports and life. And it's right, man. It's not just about sports. You know, sports is a conduit for life, and I think you're a great person to be in that role because you're not strictly, you know, centered on how can I get you a better jump shot, how can we get more wins, but how do I set you up to be successful? So
yeah.
as we prepare to wrap up, man, is there anything you want to share to your players, to the Holt Ram family, or just the greater community at all that may be watching this video?
Hey, I just want to say, look, everybody just stay safe and, you know, just try to, you know, practice your social distancing and be safe, man. And hopefully we can get back to, you know, being normal, whatever normal is. But, you know, just everybody just stay safe. That's all I want.
No, that's great advice. And I think there's going to have to be a more push that despite how people feel, that wearing masks, social distancing, I mean, those things are going to be needed if you want to try to get back to what we know. So with that, AJ, man, I appreciate you making time. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate you listening to me more times because I'll be just talking and going on, man. But you always
Hey, I appreciate you so much, man. Hey, look, every conversation that we had, man, it was genuine, man. Hey, no problem. You weren't talking about ear off or nothing, but I need a book.
You need a book. I got you, my dude. I got you. We'll get you straight, okay?
All right.
All right, I appreciate it. We got AJ Moore, head coach for the freshman basketball team at Holt High School here in mid-Michigan. I want to thank you for being on, and we're going to talk to you on the other side, okay?
All right. Thanks, man.
Okay, brother.